are so back. Happy Monday. It is Sister Lives, and we are booked and busy. There is something, at least this week, anyways, because sadly, this is the last week for Welcome to Plathville, and they're for sure never going to have Veronica back. And that's really sad because while she is the devil incarnate, she is great television. But so last night, Sister Wives. Tonight, we have Seeking Sister Wives. Tomorrow, Welcome to Plathville. Wednesday, Special Forces. In the midst of that, there's all the Real Housewives and Dancing with the Stars, which I'm really enjoying this season. So busy. We are so back. And Kody is so awful. Let me run this little intro I made and we'll let the room load and we're just going to jump right into it.
Okay, I'm going to say this at the risk of sounding sexist, but I think men want to be respected and women want to be loved. I don't care if you love me. I care if you respect me.
Shut the up! That's the last warning.
I'm okay with your licking. Oh, that sounded bad.
I don't care if you fart when you laugh accidentally.
I got my McDonald's Diet Coke. I am ready to rock and roll. I was watching, first of all, Kody on Special Forces is giving me Dwight Schrute energy. He thinks he is an assistant drill sergeant, directing staff, whatever they call themselves. And really, he's not even an assistant to the directing staff. He bothers them probably more than anyone, I would imagine. I cannot wait to see how far he gets because here's the thing, he is physically fit and he clearly, like when you look at the people that clearly didn't prepare, like Brittany Cartwright or Nick Young, Johnny Manziel, they clearly did not prepare for the physicality of Special Forces. When you look at them, Kody, like he even said in some of his pre-season press that he was advised that he got the show like 9 weeks before they filmed. So he had 9 weeks and he was working out for 9 weeks. So Moo and Oink, is that what we call Kody and Robin? But yeah, I am thoroughly enjoying Special Forces. I don't know how familiar everyone is with everyone who's been cast. I knew of Nick Young. I know him as Swaggy P because he played for the Lakers. And I was super disappointed with I don't know. I felt like he kind of got bullied a little bit by the directing staff, just like and maybe it's because I have a soft spot for him, but I didn't think what he did was that egregious. And they made how they do in like military boot camps and stuff. It's like if someone messes up, they don't punish that person, they punish everyone else, and so everyone will hate you. And like he's goofy, and you could tell that he his nervous tick is that he laughs, which a lot of people do that. I can't say that I probably wouldn't do that. Actually, I can say I probably would not have laughed. I would have burst into tears and just quit on the spot. So that would have been me. I would not have even made it as far as Brittany Cartwright. So anyways, I did start watching Dancing with the Stars again, though. Yeah, and this was a great cast on Dancing with the Stars. I love Topanga. I love her name's Meredith. Well, no, her character was Meredith Blake, right? On Parent Trap. I love her. There's so many good casting. Corey Feldman, bless his heart. And like Corey Feldman and Brittany Cartwright, bless their heart. They fought the good fight. But yeah. So let me just hit some quick high notes. We're not gonna we're not you're standing by Corey Feldman. You know, he's been through a lot. He clearly, I mean, Whitney Levitt is basically a professional dancer. We've had a couple people cast in the past, like JoJo Siwa, literally a professional dancer. I remember when Christy Yamaguchi was cast, being a figure skater, like she essentially was a dancer. There's people that seem to like have an edge because of either they've trained professionally or what have you. So it almost seems a little unfair, but I'm thoroughly enjoying everyone. Even Hilaria from Boston. But anyways, where are my notes? Hold on one second. So yeah, okay. Dwight Schrute energy, we hit that. I said not. I thought it was shitty that apparently Jax Taylor, if you guys are not familiar with Brittany Cartwright, her ex-husband is Jax Taylor. They were both on Vanderpump Rules. She was like a clout chaser. She like slid into his DMs, wanted to clearly be on the show, get famous. That's what she did, but she did endure a horrible relationship with Jax Taylor, and they quit Vanderpump Rules season 8. Then they were off of reality TV for a couple years, and then they started back on the Valley, and Jax is just like a terrible person. So he's not even coming back for season 3. But apparently they have a son. They have a 4-year-old son together. And apparently Jax texted her like, I can't believe you're doing this show. Like, you're not even going to make it that far. And then to see her like have to tap out first, I was like, oh, girl. Oh, man. So, a couple quotes that we got from Kody on Special Forces. He says to do hard things is to be good at being a man, which I thought was interesting considering we see many women completing and excelling at all these tasks that he's doing, running the 100 pounds of packages and of supplies, and then jumping out of the helicopter and jumping into that. I don't know if it was an ice bath or just like a water bath when they got woken up in the middle of the night. Had I somehow persevered and made it back to the barracks and I was asleep and I get woken up and told to like hop in some water, I would have been out. I would have never signed up for this show. But like, let's just say in an alternate universe, I found myself there. That would have been like, can't do it. I was asleep. So, Amanda and her wife had their baby. I did not see that. I will go congratulate them. If anyone, a reality Amanda, go wish her and her wife a congratulations. I'm sure that baby is just the cutest. I'm so happy for them. And then the other quote that he said was, women want to be loved and men want to be respected. And then he said that he doesn't care if you love him as long as you respect him. And I had talked about that in my last video, and someone made a good point that like usually those two things go together. And certainly when you're in like an intimate relationship with someone, like you should respect your intimate partner. And it's really disgusting the things Kody says about love and intimacy and respect, like all of those things, because it really, if I was Kody's wife and I was listening to Kody say all these things about how he views love and respect, I would be like, he clearly doesn't respect me, right? if he loves me, he doesn't respect me, because clearly those things are mutually exclusive. So I would be really pissed and irritated if I was Robin. And I don't know how long they are for monogamy, because I don't think Kody is that fun to be around 24/7. I think that's why Robin was cool with him going to Morocco for a week and a half, or however long their filming was. I think it was like 10 days or something. What was really interesting is, so I noticed in the beginning, they're clearly focusing a lot on Jussie Smollett, and because he's probably the most controversial casting choice, like that's probably known to, like, Kody is a controversial choice for us in the Sister Wives universe, but a lot of people probably don't know who Kody is. But people just watching the news know who Jussie Smollett is, what he's accused of. He completely denies that he essentially faked a hate crime. So one of my all-time favorite shows was Empire. And when he was arrested and then fired, I knew that meant that show was over. That show was so absurd, but I loved it. Taraji P. Henson all day, every day. I love her. Terrence Howard, he is a straight up weirdo in real life, but as an actor, love it. And I was like, I'm so bummed. So anyways, Empire gets canceled, and he's kind of just, I think his conviction got overturned. I don't know. I haven't really been following his case, but and I don't really have, like, I'm not from Chicago. The circumstances of that night, with it being so cold, and then there's these two guys that say that he paid them, they produced a check, I don't know, and then this Netflix documentary comes out, kind of is like, makes you wonder with some of the things. And then Jussie participated in that Netflix documentary, and Jussie, to his credit, to his detriment, he has never wavered in his innocence. So I guess there's something to say for that. But it was really interesting. If I think any two cast members are going to potentially be we know that Kody's pretty much at odds with everything, but or with everyone. But if two people are going to be politically polar opposite, it's Jussie and Kody. And it was really interesting to see Kody go, hey, like, nice to meet you. What's your name? And he's like, Jussie. What's your full name? Jussie Smollett. And you could tell that, like, I know that name. I know who you are. And then Jussie was like, oh man, like, my cover's been blown. And it's like, all right, that would eventually come out anyways. But Jussie is going to be, I think, as far as most insufferable to watch, I think Jussie might beat Kody on this show, because when he's sitting there and he's like, but why though? And it's like, well, yes, Jussie, that kind of speaks to the nature of reality TV. Is any of it necessary? No. But do we do it anyways? Yes. So I'm very interested to see how far Jussie makes it, because he doesn't enjoy getting yelled at. I would not enjoy getting yelled at. And he doesn't want to be disrespected. And he kind of has this air about him that he thinks he's better than certain things. Like when he commented that he would never clean the toilets. And Teresa, to her credit, was like, yeah, like that's my job. That's my job. And it's like, Teresa went to prison. Teresa knows how to take orders. So I was impressed by Teresa. I was impressed by her daughter. I was impressed by Kody's physicality. I was not impressed by anything Kody said. And I'm just excited to keep watching. So, anyways, you guys are talking about, I'll let you guys speculate about Jesse and his guilt or innocence in the chat, but I'm not gonna dive too far into that because we have Sister Wives season 20 episode 1. Right off the bat, I will say I was worried because reading Christine's book, or was it a press interview she gave? She had said, maybe it was in her book. You guys will let me know. When Garrison died, she did not want to like film any of that. And she ended up agreeing to filming because Janelle wanted to. And probably Janelle agreed to because Kody wanted to. So, okay. And that I think was a very thoughtful thing that the family allowed viewers to go along their grief journey with them for that one memorial, because it was devastating for those of us who watched Garrison grow up on TV. So I was very curious how, because we didn't talk about him at all in the tell-all last season. So I was kind of wondering, are we just not going to talk about him anymore? We're not going to talk about that anymore. And I was really heartened to hear that the family openly talks about him. Bob Boulevard, and when Christine and David are discussing their first year of marriage and how like the hardest thing was going through the grieving process of Garrison. I was very happy that this family is openly talking about Garrison. The people that mattered, the people that Garrison mattered to anyways, I should say, because did Kody mention Garrison once? No. So that says a lot about Kody, especially when we see him brushing Saul's hair at 13 years old, when I'm pretty sure Kody never has and never has again done that. That was purely for television. We open up. It's painful. It's a painful, sad mess. Kody is busying himself around the old McMansion. That McMansion has been sold. And my initial thought watching Kody like busying himself is that he still does not do morning routines with these kids. He might drive kids to school. He might do that. I might give him that, because he probably wants people to see him pull up in his Mercedes convertible. But there is no way that he historically gets Saul up, brushes his hair, makes breakfast. No. If anything, I think Brianna or Aurora are making Saul and Ari breakfast in the morning, if not the nanny. Kody lets us know in his interview that he doesn't talk to any of his exes, but essentially for rare occasions, he chit-chats here and there with Janelle. He talks to Mary even less, when last season Mary was his favorite ex-wife. And let me see. Oh, he only talks to Christine via text and only about Truly. And we know from Christine's book that he basically never sees Truly. So Kody also said in an interview to People magazine that the only thing that connects everyone is the show. So what are we doing here, people? It's not the 12 surviving children that Kody has with his ex-wives. That's not a tie that binds. But the reality show is. I don't know. Also, I was listening to the Shit Talk podcast with Ace and Caitlin, and they pointed out such a good call out. So Ari like pops out of bed, first day of school, first day of third grade, and they have like a little sign. Robin writes on computer paper. This woman that has spent $60,000 on Etsy on doll clothes could not spring for like a first day of school sign. You could buy those on Amazon for like $15. For shame. For shame. Let us see. Apparently, now that Kody is far enough away from these divorces and maybe he's watched himself back on seasons 16, 17, and 18, he can say, maybe I loved my wives, because now Mary, but he still has to drill it into Mary's head. Like, we aren't ever going to be a thing, because Mary still is hanging on a little bit. Cut to Salt Lake City. Christine's making some Tuscan white bean soup. And yeah, they're talking about Garrison. And that's I loved hearing about Garrison. I loved hearing that he's missed and that it's agony for people to lose a family member in that way. And I feel very grateful, especially to like Madison kind of being like the face of the siblings of grief, for them to be so vulnerable with their audience, because that particular manner of death has touched a lot of people, and there's an incredibly big stigma to it that people don't like to talk about. We can't even say the word on YouTube without getting demonetized. And I'm very grateful that we aren't just like letting that be a pink elephant in the room, if you will. And I find Janelle's candor to be very refreshing. My heart absolutely breaks for her. I do love the fact that she this morning launched Sister Witch merchandise. I love that for her. So I just, the family is healing in the ways that they know how, and I'm grateful that they're taking us along that journey. Mary, someone said, I fast forwarded through Mary's parts. You didn't miss anything. You know, I chuckled at the maybe you'll meet someone named Bob who spells his name with 2 O's. I like I've said before, my standards are in the toilet. I have really low standards, especially when it comes to sister wives. So let's go speed dating with Mary. At least we're not I don't know, at a Worthy Up symposium or something. I don't know. Is that even still happening? But anyways, I was here to watch Mary's speed date. We didn't actually see her speed date. We just saw her get like the instructions. So I guess more of that still to come. But yeah, with Mary, it's hard because Leon's not filming, which is, understandable, and gotta respect that. So, and she doesn't have a relationship with anybody else. It would be nice to see like the kids that have a relationship with her go visit her if they're willing to be filmed. Like I know Gwen is really turned off to the show now, but it would have been cool to see like Gwen pay her a visit or something like that. But let's go speed dating. Let's do that. But yeah, with Mary, I don't have a whole lot of notes about Mary because she does say that if you want to be with her, you gotta be able to handle her snort laugh. And then it cuts to Kody saying something about he doesn't care if you fart when you laugh, which I 100% call bullshit on. I don't think Robin has ever farted in front of Kody, so call bullshit there. Let's see. Obviously, Coyote Pass is still a storyline. It's an ongoing situation, but it's not the storyline. I really thought like season 20, that's really all we had to talk about. But it's really not. It's like it's kind of like a sub storyline, probably because I really like this new production company. The way they troll Kody with the edits, like when Kody was saying how he didn't used to participate with morning routines because he had to work, but really it just cuts to him like slobbing all over Mary and then Logan getting all the kids ready for school. I love that. Like clearly Kody has no pull with the edit anymore, and I love that. So I kind of lost what I was going to say. But yeah, I'm loving the new production company. Everyone is very separated. So Mary's in Parowan, Utah. Christine's in Salt Lake. Some of the kids are in Salt Lake. Some of the kids are in Flagstaff. Kody and Robin are in Flagstaff. Janelle is in North Carolina with all the other kids. And some of the kids are in Vegas. I think Gabe's in Chicago now. But Logan and Hunter, I think, live in Las Vegas. So everyone's really spread out. And but yeah, Coyote Pass is I remember what I was gonna say. I think this new production company was like, we're not gonna make the tea that everyone already knows about like the plot line of the season. And I appreciate that so far. Kody is talking about that the property needs to be cleaned up. And then he says this, and it's like, this is how you know that this dude is just an abusive asshole. He says that he doesn't want to clean up the property because Mary and Janelle are not being kind. We can just cut right to this cat lady. Robin is trying to look demure. I cackled when she said that people think she's snobby, but really she's just shy. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you think you're being shy, but really you're just a bitch. I don't know, right? So farting when you laugh is an Olympic event for geriatrics. That's funny. Yeah, he admitted last season that it was junk from failed businesses, but then he was trying to say Janelle left a bunch of stuff behind, and then Janelle was like, that's not my stuff, that's his stuff. Whatever. Hold on. He just admitted it was junk from failed businesses. Yeah. And so I guess we're going to see him hem and haw about Coyote Pass in future episodes. Janelle, we cut to North Carolina, and I do love that we see Caleb throwing a good amount of shade at Kody. Like, oh, I thought Kody was all about fairness. Oh, guess not. And it's interesting because clearly there's been a complete severing of the bromance between Caleb and Kody. Kody was obsessed with Caleb once upon a time. Caleb, lest we forget, his sister is the widow of Kody's brother. So Caleb was a part of Kody's family long before he ever was with Madison. I made a video a while ago that Madison and Caleb's origin story is a wee bit problematic, but I'm not going to say that Caleb's a bad guy, but he was 10 years older than her when she was basically a teenager. Anyways, moving on. But it is interesting to see Caleb is like completely anti-Kody now. So very, very interesting. Janelle brings up a really good point. This is kind of how I feel about polygamy personally. So Janelle reveals that she's now thinking of a spiritual divorce, and she was saying, hey, like the best way to eradicate polygamy would be to make it legal, because you give all these women legal autonomy and have legal rights and the ability to walk away with a claim on some of their husband's property or assets. And no guy is going to want to do that. And I said, good point. We started this show advocating to legalize polygamy because love should be multiplied, not divided. Are we going to end Sister Wives with advocating to legalize polygamy in the interest of eradicating it? That's a plot twist. That is a plot twist. And when they're talking about Garrison, again, and I'll say this more, it's just nice to hear. It's nice to hear that he is so prevalent, and people are so lovingly remembering him. They're talking about his love of fire, and they're wanting to recreate certain old photographs that they have of him. And I just think that is so nice. It's so nice. Then we get this just heartbreaking is the only way to describe it. This heartbreaking interview with Madison. This is obviously post-funeral because Madison is referencing this conversation that she had with Leon about, and it cuts to that conversation when they were talking about Kody and their relationship with Kody and their isolation from Robin's kids and how they want to one day be able to all be together again, and how that hasn't happened. And I mean, Maddie's young. I don't know specifically when this scene was shot, but Maddie was pregnant at the funeral, and her baby is several months old in this scene. And it's really sad that there's been nothing. And Madison cries about how you just want a hug from your dad. You want your dad to show up. You want reconciliation. And she even goes so far as to say that she knows she played a part in this. And I'm like, girl, no, you did not. That really broke my heart. And I'm glad she had Caleb sitting next to her. So, Kody says, cut to Kody, says healing can only happen on all these other people's terms, and he's just unwilling to do that. Okay. So that says all they need to know. It doesn't make it hurt any less. I know people that have strained relationships with their parents. Going no contact with a parent, all the therapy in the world, you can logically and rationally know that that's the right move to make. That's the right thing to do. But that doesn't make it hurt any less. And that doesn't do anything to the hole that leaves when you have to say that your parent is not a healthy person for you to be around. That's devastating. And that's, Maddie was so vulnerable and shared that hurt with us. And Kody, because Kody is such a broken person and he's such a mentally ill individual with no self-awareness, he's never going to get that. That's never going to click for him. And that's sad for Madison. That's sad for all of these kids, because a normal person would see their child crying and see them opening up and talking about the things that Madison was talking about, and that would absolutely break a normal person's heart, and they would immediately go, oh my gosh, how can we fix this? But not Kody. Kody is going to view this as Madison's talking shit about him. She's sobbing, and Cody's going to be like, oh, the gossip mill. Do I really think Kody would not take another wife? Let's table that thought till we get to the lick of it all. Right? All right. We pop back over to the McMansion. We're watching Kody zip zapping around, making some pancakes. At one point, he gives Saul his school equipment, which is an iPad and his cell phone. This young person has a cell phone. People that have their own cell phones, painting with a broad brush. I know that it's not true in all cases, but generally don't need their hair brushed. There's a sign of capable of independence that comes with you saying you can have a cell phone. So probably also you can brush your own hair and wipe your own ass. I'm just, But then Robin because Kody just is a snitch. Because of course Kody would be. And he's like, oh, Robin, Saul put his cell phone in his pocket. And Robin's like, oh, Saul, that's not good for you. Which flashed back to when I worked for Verizon. And every so often you would get people that would come in. I worked in Manhattan at various stores. And people would come in and ask for like I forget what it was called, but like the rating, the something rating for the phones. And they would be interested in getting the phone with the lowest emission of whatever frequencies. And so that's clearly what Robin is worried about. And I just was like, girl, if he is on his phone, it being in his pocket is the least of your worries. Just, Okay. What else? Oh, Robin and Kody are bitching that, some people are monogamous and some people have monogamy thrust upon them. And basically Robin and Kody were forced non-consensually into monogamy. And then Robin is sitting here now talking about Kody's ex-wives. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting. They're not her former sister wives. They're Kody's ex-wives. Feel like that was intentional. You guys will have to let me know what you think. Then it cuts back to Mary, who's like, I did not make Robin a monogamist. And I'm so glad that Mary said that. One of the things I'm loving about this new production style is that they're clearly showing them what the other person is saying so they can react in their couch interviews. And I love that because we got Mary, Janelle, and Christine reacting to being called a sister witch. So I love that Mary was like, I chose me. I did not make you a monogamist. I just refused to be abused anymore. Sorry. Of course, Ari gets a ride to school in Kody's convertible, top down, because everyone look at me. Popping back over to North Carolina, Maddie and David race each other. Janelle says David is charming, but he definitely has an ego. Cut to Christine saying that she just likes guys that are confident. Like Kody was confident, David's confident. So I found that interesting. So there is some personality similarities between David and Kody. I mean, I hope that that's where the similarities end, though. I can tell that David is a much more empathetic person. So I'm confident of that. But I was like, oh no, don't go comparing David to Kody. I do love the fact that Janelle has always wanted to like homestead, live like a more rural life, kind of have her own land, be like master of her domain type thing. And Christina's like, miss me with all of that. So we get Janelle is super excited about this raw, undeveloped land. And Christina's like, this is my worst nightmare. But we're all sitting around, we're looking at the plans, and Caleb, I think Maddie reveals that Caleb had recommended to name their road Bob Boulevard. And I just thought that was so cute. And then Christine reminds us that Garrison's name is actually Robert, and all of the kids refer to him as Uncle Bob. And they're planning, because they're part of Taeda Farms is going to be a flower farm. And part of the flower farm is going to be a flower garden that's going to be a memorial to Bob's Florals and dedicated to people who struggle with mental health issues and who lost their battle against mental health again. Just a heart-wrenching moment. I love that we're having that conversation as someone who struggles with mental health issues. I'm so grateful that that is being talked about out of the shadows. Let's see. Then we get a conversation about when is the right time to drop the polygamy bomb, because Mary's worried about that with speed dating, because Mary says that there was a time where she met someone and then they found out she was on a reality show. What do you guys think would be more of a daunting bomb? Reality show star or former polygamist? I would think like, because Mary says that when they found out who she was, they were like, ooh, sorry, no, pass. And then that really hurt her feelings. But do we think it was the polygamy thing, or do we think it was the I don't want to be associated with someone on reality TV thing? Because we know when she was dating Not So Famous Amos, and people even tiptoed into digging up dirt on him, he cut and run so fast. So I bet you it's the reality TV thing. Yeah, you guys think so too. Yeah, TV. Let us see. I mean, being an ex-polygamist is not typical, probably not something you would run into every day, but I don't think that necessarily would be like, ooh, if unless Mary was like, and I still want to be one, you know. But yeah, if you're on a show all about your ex family, yeah. Like David's kind of a unicorn in that situation where he's like totally cool with sitting in a confessional talking about Christine's ex-husband. Not a lot of people would be cool with that. Let us see. All right, you guys, it's time that we lick you from your head to your toes. We got to go to this dinner. Robin and Kody are hot and horned up. Why? They feel like they need to like prove they still got it or something. I don't know, but they are just like seconds away from ripping each other's clothes off at the table, because Robin has like a charcuterie board and she was like, oh, thanks for cutting my cheese. And Kody was like, don't use my knife because I licked it. And she was like, you could lick this or something. And then she's like, sorry, that sounded bad. And then Kody was like, oh, you've activated man mode. And now I just must have you right now. And then they talk about how Robin's been being bugged by some family members, apparently. Like, what are you guys doing? Are you going to take another wife? And then Robin was basically saying, you know, everything went so bad that in order for her to consider doing plural marriage again, she would have to know that. And she's basically setting up the fact that, like, it's just it's a scenario that's never going to happen. It's an impossible situation. Nobody could ever meet this criteria because Robin will constantly shift the goalposts. So it has to be someone that's completely devoted to Robin, uglier than Robin, older than Robin. You know, they didn't say that, but obviously, like, Kody can't like someone more than Robin. Like, that's specifically criteria he laid out at this dinner. So ultimately, because the criteria is too rigorous, no one's ever going to be able to meet that. The two of them decide we'll just be monogamous because we have to. And what was really funny to me is they're having this conversation, and you know, Robin's like, yeah, like, we can't do that because, like, there's no guarantee. And Cody's like, no, bitch, like, we can't do that because I would just, like, be pounding tail all over town. Wouldn't be able to stop myself because I'm just a horned up middle-aged man. And she's like, oh, Kody, you're sounding like a pig right now. And he's like, oh, I'm a man. I'm just a pig. But it's okay because he's Robin's pig. And she loves him. He's her soulmate. Oh, this was a very interesting quote from Kody. And this is why, like, they'll sit there and be like, oh, we love each other. We're so great together. What we have is really special. And then, you know, Robin will throw in that Kody's tough to be around all the time, or this was never what she wanted, never what she pictured. And then Kody drops this line about how polygamists always are getting more than they want, and a monogamous is never getting enough. So Kody is living monogamy. If I'm Robin and I'm watching this, he thinks he's not getting enough with just me. There's no way that this relationship lasts. It's certainly not going to last after the show is over. Because once the show is over, the money is over. And Robin is not about that life. Somebody somewhere left a comment, and I think it got reposted in Reddit, saying, like, Robin hasn't had a job since the Obama administration. And I, like, spit out my Diet Coke. That was so funny. And true. I was just stating facts. And to kind of wrap things up, we get the sister witches comment, which was just such a nasty thing to say. Like, Kody, these are the mothers of your children. Like, think before you speak. And Robin rightfully is like, calls him out on it right away. God knows how much he just shit talks everyone when the cameras aren't there, which is why, like, we've seen Ari, like, say and do, like, things like how she's, like, telling Christine to go on dates to fix things. And then I think either in an interview or last season, Kody was saying how Ari was saying how I don't like so-and-so and I'm not going to talk to them anymore. And it was like, well, their kids' opinions of other people often are just echoing the opinions that their parents are chit-chatting about in front of them. So it's obvious that all Kody and Robin do is talk shit about the OG3. And probably the OG kids too. But that was episode 1. Okay, guys, what do you think? What do you guys think? I'm here for it. I like I said, my bar is in the trash. I'm here to watch Mary's speed date. I thought that I would enjoy HGTV home reno Mary, and I ended up not liking that very much. So I'm glad we've moved on from that. I'm down to watch speed dating Mary. Christine's right. They need to spend time together. That's not a funeral, because maybe then healing can happen. And if the only way to get Kody to show up to something is if it's filmed for the show, maybe that's a start. I don't know. It's never too late until it's too late. So there's always hope. And unfortunately for these kids, you can't pick your parents. Nobody can pick their parents. So these kids are always going to have that part in them of wishing things could be better. I'm sure that they've all come to a place where they've accepted that it is what it is, but it doesn't make it doesn't take that sting away. So it would be interesting to see if and how many kids would agree to do some sort of family reunion type thing if they decided to film that. Who knows? I'm interested to see what season 20 has in store. I know when Christine was promoting her book and when she was some of these pre-season Instagram reels that TLC put up, Christine had mentioned that this season is spicy. So, and I hope it's not spicy in a lick kind of way, because lick has now become a word in that word bank that I put like moist in. It just like words I'm just never gonna use because, you know. So thanks, Robin. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me for our first Sister Wives and Special Forces of season 4 of Special Forces, season 20 of Sister Wives. I'm gonna have a lot of content coming your guys' way. We're going to be talking Plattsville. We're going to be talking Seeking Sister Wives. Those shows I'm like kind of peppering in videos here and there. So I appreciate you guys watching those and interacting with those. And then of course the Sister Wives content is steady, normal as it is. So make sure you like this live, subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I will catch you guys in the next video.